Hi, welcome back. This is Vida from Therapy by Vida. And today I'm going to go over something super important if you're going to be going into therapy, is how to choose a therapist. This is really important, and I'm going to go step by step what will make it easier, and hopefully your journey to find one that matches won't be as long. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is credentialing. This is huge. This is one of the biggest things. You want to make sure that you are seeing or looking for a therapist that is licensed in your state. So what does licensed mean? That means they went and got a master's degree, takes a lot of schooling, and then they started a practicum. So they already started doing therapy as they were in school, and they continued to do it for 3,000 hours. So it's very rigorous. It is great training. It's very important to get all that. And then there's even a state board licensing exam. So people that are licensed are really knowledgeable about psychology. They are trained in all the latest techniques and modalities. So these are people that really take their profession to another level. And it's very, very important to see somebody licensed. I've heard of nightmare stories where people saw someone that wasn't licensed, and basically you're just going to someone that's giving you their opinion instead of something that's actually a therapeutic approach. So really two different things. So that's going to be the first and foremost thing. Check that license, make sure they're licensed in that state. The second thing will be cultural competence. Notice if you want someone from your specific culture. Maybe that's how you connect, or you would want to connect with your therapist. That's just something to notice and look for that. And that's really important if you do feel like that, to find someone that is culturally competent or from the same culture you are looking for. The next thing is age. I have gotten a lot of people that say they like to see me because I'm a little older. It's great for me. But notice, are you really young and really feel like you want to connect to someone in their late 20s or 30s? Are you a mom and it feels really important that your therapist is a mom or dad or had kids? That's also really important to just notice if that feels like you'd be able to connect more with somebody. A lot of people say, well, I wanted someone a little older because more experience. That's true too, right? We've been in this field for a while now, and we do, as licensed therapists, continue getting education in our field. So you are getting a lot of bang for your buck with someone that has been doing this for a while or long time. The next thing is specialization. Figure out why you're coming to therapy. Is it you're having trouble in a relationship, you have anxiety that you feel like is out of control, depression? Notice what you want to talk about. Again, therapy is very fluid, it's nonlinear, so you can come in with anxiety and it can spin off into childhood trauma or relationship issues. But notice what you want to go in first for and find someone that specializes in it. A lot of the times people will say kind of everything. That's true. Licensed therapists are really trained in a lot of different things. But if you're really coming in with anxiety issues, someone like me, I specialize in anxiety. So I have extra training in that, and that can be really important to people. I also do childhood trauma, and I specialize in that. So I have extra training in that. So notice where your therapist or who you're looking into, where their training really is. I love to do anxiety work, so I'm really passionate about that. So I learn a lot all the time, and I bring that to all my patients. So just notice what you're coming in for and look for specializations. One of the biggest, most important things for therapy to happen is what we like to call having a good therapeutic relationship. This is the biggest thing, the biggest thing. We want you to feel comfortable with the person you're talking to. I come from a really non-judgmental place. I am accepting of all things people bring into the practice, into the time we have together. I make sure my space, even if it's online, is a therapeutic space. So really safe. I want to feel really connected with my patients online or in session. If you are not feeling comfortable with your therapist, it's not going to work at all. If she reminds you of your aunt who you don't like, or a mother you really had problems with, there's going to be a push-pull. That doesn't mean that you can't work on that with your therapist. That can be really wonderful and healing as well. I really want to emphasize how important it is to feel safe and respected with your therapist. So if that's the number one thing you get out of this, is I want you to like your therapist, right? Look, therapy is hard enough. You want to like her or him, right? So the relationship is number one. Another thing that I would love to bring to the table, and it really changed when we couldn't see people in person during COVID, is try someone online. You have so many options now for therapists. I'm in California, I see tons of people from Northern California. I'm in Southern California. You can really have thousands to choose from. So, and that can feel overwhelming too. Yet you can really figure out that you have more of an option of who you see now, unless you really want to go in person, and that's your choice too. But I suggest always trying online as well. It gives you a lot more options of therapists out there. Another helpful hint is try a therapist, we like to say 3 to 6 times. So looking for that connection, respect, and that doesn't mean that we're not going to gently challenge you. Because that's what a therapist is there to do. We are not your friends at a party, talking to you. We are therapeutic. We have a therapeutic approach to everything that you say. So gently challenging is going to be part of the therapy. Yet, you should feel safe enough at that point to be challenged, and you should feel respected while it's happening. So remember, gently challenging is good and therapeutic. And we encourage everyone to try a therapist for at least 3 to 6 times and see how that feels for you. So I touched upon specializations, and I just want to circle back really quick. So specializations, notice where your interests lie almost. I specialize in somatic psychotherapy. So I do have all the other trainings, yet for somatics, we know more about anxiety, depression, how to treat trauma, so PTSD. And that's something that is newer, more of the mind and body connection, which is really important to heal anxiety or PTSD or trauma. So that's something to know. There's also art therapy, which is great. If you're an artist or have any art interest, that is in a complete different realm as well. It is going to be more focused on all the things that, you're going to bring into therapy, yet the therapist will bring in a tool of art, which can be very healing as well. And then there's something gold standard CBT. That is what we are all trained in. And that's more of thoughts, feelings, looking at thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And so most people are trained in CBT already, but notice if you want that extra emphasis, right? There's also transpersonal emphasis, which is more about spirituality. And that can be very healing for someone who is spiritual. So notice if you are wanting someone for anxiety, depression, PTSD, trauma, and that somatic therapy can be really, really is becoming now the wave of therapy for that. So this was a big list. How you can also shave this down is because we talked about you can find a therapist in your whole state. So that really broadens the spectrum. Jot down 4 therapists that you kind of like. Take an hour and look up Psychology Today. That's a great resource. And a lot of us therapists will give a 10, 15-minute free consultation. So it's a great way to get to know a therapist. Ask, how old are you? If it's important for that person to have a family, do you have a family? What do you specialize in? What do you like to do therapy in? I would say anxiety right away. Anxiety, depression, PTSD, trauma, right? These are my things. And you'll hear the therapist get excited about their specialty. So knowing what you want, and so go ahead and ask those hard questions. We're here to answer them. And I think that's a really great resource that we started doing in the last couple of years. So take advantage of it. Make an appointment with all the therapists that you find interesting or might feel like you have a connection with. And that's a really great way to figure that piece out in the beginning. And like I said, have a couple sessions at least, right? 3 to 6 is what we say. And see how that relationship feels for you. Okay, so I know this list was lengthy, and I hope it was useful. If you have any questions, I'm happy to help you as well. So go ahead and comment in the comment section below, and I would get back to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.